Alright, so in this episode, about 5 minutes after that KLR one, I pulled the Gl wing out. Right now I got my neighbor over there weed eating or something, so that's not my motorbike making those horrible noises. I'm going to start off with all the extra stuff that comes with a 40-year-old bike. So whenever I bought it, it had the original, actually the aftermarket Vetter kit. You can see here, Vetter's 4 lights, they all work. This is the top trunk. Here is the frame that goes with it. And here's one saddlebag. The funny story is about 4 months ago, one of my bags fell off on the highway and somebody picked it up. So on top of this, I've got a brand new one-piece regulator rectifier, which is plug and play with what I got here. This is actually off of a 90s model Ninja. The harness hooks right up into what's on the Gl wing, and you can eliminate the 2-unit regulator rectifier that's on there. But I did some soldering and got my electrical system to work just fine without it, so I'm just holding on to it. This is the coolant tank off of the first gen, the 75, 76 models. It's useless, pretty much. And then just odding in things. Let's see, I've got some shiny bits. That's the spark plug covers. This is a tool used for pulling fork seals. That was it. Old grips and whatnots. You know, just stuff. Yeah, there's nothing really more interesting in there. Alright, so here is the front fairing. Front fairing right here. The headlight is on the bike right now. So you can take the headlight off of the bike, put it onto here, and bolt this up with the frame, you see. Right there. They just use some hose clamps to hold that on. And the bike's still got all the harness on there, so you won't have to worry about that. Over here are some crash bars. I took these off just because I didn't need them. And the original exhausts. The only problem is that this one's missing the front right here. So this little piece rusted out. That came off. Somebody somewhere can make this, put all this back together, and then you'll have one of the very few bikes that has the original exhaust on it. They're not around, not many of them anyway. So over to the exhaust on the bike now. These are some Harley takeoffs. They were free. It's just stock big Harley pipes. They're not too loud. You can see this is where they bolt on for Harley. I had a guy over in Aberdeen where I work make a little bracket for me and weld these up. Markland floorboards. Markland heel toe shifter. Ooh, nice bits. This is a Hagon shock. This isn't the heavy duty, but it is 3 positions. So I keep it on the first position. Nice thing about this is it's actually got dampening. So if you want a nice soft ride, you can turn it all the way to minus. If you want a stiff ride for curvy roads, spirited riding, you can adjust that there. I completely rebuilt the brakes. I wanted to paint them gold, so I did. I've got stainless steel brake lines on it. I also did the fronts. Fronts too. Stainless steel brake lines as well. Previous owner actually cut these little tabs off for the blinkers. I don't even ride with blinkers anymore. Nobody pays attention to them anyway. So let me give you a full shot. Here we go. Like I said, I'm new to taking these videos, so I'm all over the place. Oh, one thing that's in that box is you can fit a dipstick to the bottom plug here that comes up through this little hole. Somebody convinced me that it'll eventually just leak and give you a pain in the butt, and it's much easier to keep your sight glass clean. It's down there. Let's see. There it is. All right, half full. It's good. I've cleaned and rebuilt the carbs myself, and then actually sent them to Moose over at Pistol Pete. Moose is Pistol Pete's daughter. He does all of her rebuilds. She went through them for me, found a few mistakes I made and some missing parts from the previous owner. One of them is a thrust spring, which is this piece right here. And they said it doesn't, you know, eventually it will might lead to some premature wear, but 40 years later, my butterflies are still working fine. This is where that spring was supposed to be, and it's not. They also had a little problem with this, so they put a little dab of paint on there to hold it in place. It's synced, runs great. Okay, so I've rebuilt the petcock. That's why it's got shiny bits. This one has a Dyna S ignition behind here, so there's no points and condensers to deal with. Also, I have a new fuel pump, so that's right from Honda as well, so no problems. Oh, good. My assistant just arrived. I'm gonna get her to help me out. Hey, sweetie, I need you to do something for me. This bike's starting from cold, and I know you haven't done it before, but since my choke cable got worn out, I now just reach over and hold this up right here while I start it. So I'm gonna hold my choke open. I just want you to push the starter button right there. So just hold it down. And we're running. No smoke. This bike starts so easy. It's also my daily rider. So, all right, thank you, Boo. All right, had a little help. These are kind of cold natured, so they don't love to stay running. The manuals and most Goldwing experts say to hold the choke out moderately, try to keep it below 3,000 RPMs for about 30 seconds after you start it, and then just take off and go ride the thing. It'll warm up. I've got an aftermarket front master cylinder, so this baby actually supplies more pressure to the front than stock. Back in 79 or 75, the idea of having two brakes in the front was pretty new, so they didn't want the front brakes to lock up. This one's got a voltmeter. You can see right now it's still cold, so it's reading 12. Fuel meter works fine, and the temperature gauge. My odometer stopped working at 7186. But this bike's got a lot of cool stuff, and it rides like a scalded dog. So she just needs to be ridden. She's fast too. If you have any more questions, I know this video is pretty terrible production value. Sorry, but this is my Goldwing. Thanks.